be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the consequences. I read that already. That's ADHD. The U.S. government employs more than 18,000 propaganda experts whose sole job is to sell the American way of life to its citizens, to induce the citizenry to support the government, and how to do so is its sole responsibility. Remember I told you about the black aristocracy? There's 5 families. What are they? The entertainment family. Black people in entertainment. Tom Joyner, y'all know I was on Tom Joyner last week, 5 minutes, then they cut me, boop!
No freedom of the press.
Entertainment, economics, black people with money, 500 million or greater. And you know the only way you get the 500 million or greater is you have to participate in some sort of a sacrifice. Yep. For black men, you know what that means? You got to bend over in order to get over.
That's right.
You got to bend over in order to get over. Entertainment, economics, religion, our mega church ministers. Why in the hell do you need a $3.5 million prayer house and you don't put nobody to work? Are y'all listening to me? How do we get mad at the white supermarket and the Chinese corner store for coming in, robbing us blind, and running out before sundown when the black minister does the same damn thing?
Same thing.
Poor black women and poor black men and the elders and single black women and black men going to church giving your last dollar to a man who don't even live in your neighborhood. They take that money and put it in a white bank just like the supermarket does. So why are you not getting rid of the minister? In fact, the black church is the #1 bloodsucker of the poor. I said the black church and the mosque too. Same old thing. I was raised Muslim, but I'm telling you, I can't stand it. If you want to be a Muslim, but you ain't got to be a damn Arab. You dressing like them, growing your beard like them. A hashish, nigga, I'm black. I'm in the incense store the other day. I said, sister, why you ain't got no pictures of no African heroes in there? It's against my religion. I said, you mean to tell me that your religion has the right to tell you whether or not you can respect yourself? You need permission from the Quran to respect yourself? Talking about the Arab is my brother when he had me in slavery before the European did.
That's right.
Got Christians running around talking about somebody who's not an African who believes in Christ is my brother and sister before you. Don't no religion take precedent over my race. Not yesterday, not today, and not tomorrow. And that's why we got to get back to what Marcus Garvey said. He said you got to be race first. Race first. He said the Jew is a Jew first. The Irish is an Irishman first. The Chinese is a Chinese man first. They disagree over religion in China. But when it comes to that economic empowerment, they join forces like Voltran. Boom, 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 boom. And come right into your hood and suck you dry with chicken wings. There's Chinese people in China right now plotting to get rich in West Baltimore. Right now. Right now. We ain't got no, oh my gosh, don't talk about the hair. I was in the toy store. My daughter's birthday, I took her to the toy store, right? She wanted some dolls, so she automatically knew what she better get. So anyway, we going down the aisle. Did you know that they got a black girl doll with a blonde haired wig with a tattoo on her neck and on her breast? Yes. 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 Kenneth Clark made me Clark. And see, the beauty of the Garvey movement before the Kenneth Clark doll study, which was just replicated a few years ago, and they still found that black girl self-husband.
Same result.
Exactly.
Same result.
Marcus Garvey had a black doll factory where the UNIA created black dolls for the boys and girls to play with. Mr. Garvey wasn't even a psychologist. This is 30 years before the Kenneth Clark study, and he knew enough to know that if our child play with toys that don't look like them, they will hate themselves.
Yes, they will.
And some of y'all keep financing these expensive private school educations. When you send your black son to a white private school, you teaching them to fall in love with white girls. That's all that's around there. And then he come home and you dress like the girls in his damn class. What he supposed to do? Next slide.
And Bishop Long too.
Oh, Bishop Eddie Long.
That tramp.
But I'm going to tell you what was so trifling about it. No. The worst thing about Eddie Long,
He prayed for them young men.
but hold tight. The fact that he turned out to be a pedophile was wrong. That didn't shock me. I'm gonna tell you what shocked me.
Okay.
What shocked me was that his staff knew he was molesting them children and did nothing about it. Are y'all listening to me?
Getting paid.
A staff full of black women who know he having sex with boys and don't say nothing. And then kleptomaniac Dollar, comes and orders Bishop Eddie Long's congregation back to the church. And says you have no right. A car wreck. That he had a wreck. He made a mistake. We all fall from grace. Look how we rationalize our sins like that, black people. As long as you let people rationalize their sins like that, you can never hold nobody accountable. You can never hold nobody accountable like that. You see what they do in the Middle East? Let them catch a spot. I come to Morgan. Let's do it. All they got to do is call me. They ain't nothing but a ride. I want to teach a college course. I tried to get in at Lincoln and Cheney, but they heard some of my comments and they said, we could bring you in as a guest speaker for Black History, but to have you here permanently.
No.
But what I'm trying to do, and this is serious, and for my Morgan State people, I want you to pass this on. Remember I told you, less than 1% of all school psychologists in America are black. So most of the people putting our kids in special ed are white, right?
That's right.
I have a problem with the fact that hardly none of the historically black colleges have a school psychology training program. Are y'all with me? It's a master's level program.
You know why?
And I want to go there and start one. So if you at a black school, get me in touch with the chair of the psych department. We need some school psych training programs so our kids can stop being diagnosed with learning disabilities that they don't have. I was hollering at Lincoln and Cheney. I'm going to try again. You know what I mean? But we need a school psych training program. It helps the university and it helps the race at the same time. See, the problem with the black schools is they are so reliant on white money. Are y'all with me? That they are paranoid about bringing anybody on their campus that can scare away the money. I'm not knocking them for that. That's our fault because we're not organized enough to get them off of that umbilical cord from the European establishment. And then we got to get with our black rich people because every last one of them should be sponsoring one black school. At least one black school. You see what I'm saying? But we got to start using our money for our own race. The reason, we back on, commercials over. Fried chicken ice cream is sold out. Black people are the richest group of blacks on the earth. We gross $1 trillion. We're the 10th richest nation on the globe. We have enough money to solve our own problems without any help. Did you know that?
Yes, sir.
And that's why nobody gives you no sympathy. I hope she ain't on staff because I ain't gonna never teach her. But but the issue is we can solve our own problems, black people. We got to start sacrificing for that purpose. Check it out, the agreement strategy. Let's talk about the agreement strategy. I'm bringing this to an end. It's Saturday night, right? It ain't no NFL games on right now, right? What's on tonight?
This is the main event right here. That's right.
All right, much love. Because I always ask that question. Because I always say that if the Super Bowl was on the same day as the Million Man March.
Wow.
Are y'all with me?
Might not be a march, y'all.
If the Super Bowl was on the same day as the Million Man March, I don't know if we would have been out there that day. And it was a beautiful day.
Yes, it was.
I'll never forget it. A weapon used against critical thinkers is the agreement strategy. Like a good boxer, the misinformation machine creates doubt in your mind regarding your position. First, you got to create doubt. You got to drop resistance from the conscious mind. You say that you don't support homosexuality? Well, I'm going to show you some research, paid research, that shows you that people are born this way. It's all propaganda. But once I get you to doubt, now I have what? A crack that I can seep in through.
Right.
That's why you got to keep your mind strong, black people. If you race first, don't let nobody convince you that you're not. If Jesus is black, don't let nobody convince you that you're not. If you're a nationalist, don't let nobody convince you that you're not. Because once they can move you off one square, the rest of the squares fall like dominoes. Offer ideas that you have to agree with. This is what I do. If I want to change your mind, this is how propaganda works. I first start giving you stuff that I know you're going to say, yeah, that's true. And then the knockout punch is to get you to swallow what I wanted you to swallow the first time. And because human beings are naturally agreeable, it's difficult for you to say no after you said yeah 10 times. Are y'all with me on that?
Right.
That's why if you notice when the insurance man knocks on your door, when the Jehovah's Witnesses knock, and I'm not knocking no Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not knocking. Okay? But they come to your door and they get you to say yeah a few times. It's the marketing plan. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Right? And then once they get you, don't you need God? Don't you need? Why don't you come on out? They say, okay, boom. That's how they sell everything to you. When you go to buy a new car, you say, I'm just looking. I'm not buying another car for another year. Wouldn't you look good in that? Yeah. Don't you think that's a nice car? Yeah. Don't you at least got a job? Yeah, but I ain't got enough money. But don't you got a job? You know what? Take it for a test ride. And once you get in there and turn on that music and pimp that ride, you get home with the car and your wife is saying, I know that ain't ours. Mine ain't even paid for. You see that? Stop trying to buy happiness, black people. One of the biggest problems we got is we keep on trying to buy happiness. You cannot buy happiness. Happiness is something that comes from the outside. How we doing, Jabbar? 10 minutes. Got you. It is within human nature to be agreeable, and once credibility has been established, it is difficult to go against the flow. White supremacy uses who to control you? Your black scholars. Whenever they want the black community, when they wanted to sell you Obama, you know what they do? They brought all the black politicians. Remember the Obama campaign? Because he had no face value for you. Obama alone couldn't have got you. So they brought in everybody else to convince you that Obama was your man. Why did you believe in Obama? Because Al said he was okay. And Tavis said he was okay. And Cornell, they hate him now, but back then they said he was okay. You see that?
And we'll skip it.
Exactly. Next slide. The more emotional the message, the more likely it will be accepted. Emotion rules. This is how the pastor works you up. For example, Brother Jabari did his offering, right? But he just went off of your love for black people for you to donate. Not too many people donate. But if he would have worked up some emotion in here with some Christ, he would have probably got $10,000 from y'all tonight. Yes, he would have. All he had to do was pull out the good book and hit one of them Proverbs. Woo, woo, woo. When people are made to feel victimized, you can almost get them to agree with anything. Pastors and politicians use the emotion tactic all the time. Next slide.
Yes, they do.
Credibility. The more credentialed a person is, the more likely they will be believed no matter how blatant they lie. Less educated people are more inclined to believe more educated people regardless of the lie. He must be right because he's Jesse Jackson. He must be telling the truth. He's president of the United States. He can't be wrong. He's the chair of the African Studies Department. Y'all see that? Credibility is your problem. Don't you believe nobody? I don't care how many degrees they got unless you have found what they said to be true, including me. Next slide. All information must pass through your conscious mind on the way to the unconscious. The conscious mind is the filter. If it doesn't reject the information within 60 seconds, it automatically flows to the unconscious. That's why information learned during sleep is always digested by the unconscious, since your conscious mind isn't aware of it. Next slide. Because most propaganda campaigns use multiple streams of subliminal suggestion all at once, it is almost impossible for you to reject it all. You can't say, I went to the movies, but I wasn't affected by the Tyler Perry movie. It's impossible. You can't shut it out. And that man is crazy. He rich, and I'm glad that he made something of himself because I heard he was homeless, but he's crazy. Every movie puts black women and black men in a negative
That's right.
view. Now, when Color Purple came out, we said, damn, that's a bit much. Waiting to Exhale, damn, that's a bit much. He don't discriminate against men or women. Everybody is no damn good. Are y'all with me? And all he doing is playing out his own unconscious pain. Because I heard that he was molested. All that money and you can't find a therapist? Somebody get him on the phone, I'll be his therapist. I'm 10 G's a pop for the money he got. He got his own plane! You know how much fried chicken ice cream on that damn plane? Let me wrap this up. The best way to avoid brainwash is to prevent exposure to negative information. Next slide. Once you consider or attend to a particular piece of propaganda, you risk being brainwashed. Brainwash simply means that you become an unconscious victim. Our children right now are being brainwashed by homosexuality. You don't even know it, but a lot of your children's school books got wife-wife couples and husband-husband couples. And then your President Obama appointed a homosexual to be the director of the Safe and Drug-Free Schools of America. Kevin Jennings is gay. Why would a black president put a gay man in charge of Safe School? And who did he put in charge as Secretary of Education? Arnie Duncan, the same person who fought for an all-homosexual high school in Chicago. That's who your black president puts as Secretary of Education. Wow. And you keep telling me I gotta vote for him again. Every president is given a domestic initiative and an international one. His international one was to put AFRICOM throughout Africa and make Africa safe for exploitation from Western investors. His domestic agenda was to make homosexuality totally accepted in the black community by the time he leaves. When you consciously accept an idea, that's not brainwash, that's influence and persuasion. Remember, when you telling the truth, you don't need brainwash. Next slide. Because words have to be interpreted by the conscious mind, the fewer the words used in a propaganda campaign, the better. Music and images are far more powerful than words, but when accompanied by them are even more effective. Next slide. Propaganda has destroyed more people than open warfare. This is coming from Marcus Garvey. He said the whole world is one on bluff. The UNIA is a perfect example of how persuasion and propaganda were used to improve our race. As they often say, Marcus Garvey sold the Negro to himself, and we have to do it again. Next slide. Beware of lies disguised as truth, intended to lower your conscious resistance to misinformation. We call them factoids. The news don't give you facts. The news give you factoids, facts that they made up. Research studies, polls, expert opinion, and scientific. They love to tell you, we've done studies. We've done studies that prove blacks are inferior to whites. We've done studies to prove that homosexuality is natural. We've done studies to prove that just because a black boy is taught by a white woman, that is not going to lead to meager outcomes. Who's done the study? White folk at a white university for a white journal who believe in white racism? And I'm supposed to believe that their white racism didn't affect the results? I doubt it. Next slide. Current propaganda campaigns, biracial, interracial marriage. Schools are failing black children because they can't learn. Obamaism is propaganda. Blacks have made tremendous progress. That's a lie. Classism over racism. You suffer because you're not well educated, not because you're black. That's a damn lie. It's just as many educated black men in jail as it is uneducated. Democracy improves lives. That's a lie. The natural origin of homosexuality, war on terrorism. Next slide. Implications for black people. Gaddafi was murdered because they tried to float that African satellite. They also wanted to start an African central bank. That's why he's dead. U.S. Department of Education is nothing but brainwash. The importance of self-determined culture, the importance of critical analysis. As Dr. Leonard Jeffrey says, we have a paralysis of analysis in the black community. Next slide. Miseducation, medication, incarceration, frustration, extermination. Those are the 5 stages of extermination for black boys. It all starts with miseducation. We need our own schools. Next slide. 75% of black boys don't have a father in their life. They don't have ADHD. ADHD was created by Wall Street drug companies to get rich off black single-parent mothers. Absence of daddy from the home disorder. $50 billion a year is what they're making off these drugs. Next. Repatriation. We got to go to hell back to Africa. Stop trying to make it work. You got to go home before it won't be nobody left. Next slide. Go to my website, drumarjohnson.com. It's been good, family. I'm going to turn it back over. That white lady ain't saying that to you, did she? Okay. I'm passing it back to Jabari. Make sure you get my business card. I got CDs and DVDs along the wall over here. Peace and love.
Give it up for Dr. Umar Johnson. Give him a big round of applause, y'all. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take just a few seconds before we go to question and answer. We're going to bring Sister Pam Africa up. If she would come up and just say a few words about Moment, the thing that you got going on. Is that okay? Indeed. All right. Give her a big round of applause once more. Okay, we'll take some questions before she come on. Actually, anybody got any questions for Brother Dr. Umar?
We the prince and the queen of Philadelphia.
My brother back here, and then we'll go over to you, Brother Joe.
The term Illuminati, right? Before a lot of people might not know who it is. I wish they'd take one of Illuminati.
Okay. Number one, we got to stop being conspiracy theorists. Are y'all with me? The Illuminati. What's my take on the Illuminati? The Illuminati is a real organization that was started by Adam Weishaupt, okay, for the perpetuation and maintenance of white supremacy. Here's what I want y'all to understand. The Illuminati is only one secret society. There's dozens. It's not even the most powerful one. The Bilderberg is infinitely more powerful than the Illuminati. So is the Council of Rome. Are y'all with me? So is the CFR, the Trilateral Commission. There's a whole host of white secret societies. Our job is not to study them to death. We have too many information junkies in the black community. We are running around addicted to white conspiracy. The question is, what are you going to do? The fact that you know they planning your death mean nothing. What is the program that you're going to do to offset it? The fact that you know don't mean nothing. Are you with me? So what we got to do is build our own secret societies that are based on trying to improve African life and get us out of this country. We need to study them things. Yes, I study the Bilderberg, I study the CFR, but only enough to know what's going on. Some of us get addicted to it. Are y'all with me? I know some brothers all day, they don't even go to sleep. They bags under their eyes this big on the internet looking for the next conspiracy. We don't need to find out the next conspiracy. We need to come up with the next strategy for our own survival.
My brother. Okay, sis. That was you had that question? Okay.
So based on what you
Can you
said-
speak up?
Yeah. So based on what you said, how do you determine what is a credible source, considering you said a lot of things are produced by the CIA, especially with regard to research? And then that being considered, have you ever thought about how some of the content pertaining to like lesbian and gay people may be further marginalizing them within the black community?
Oh, good question. Number one, we got to tell the truth regardless. When I talk about homosexuality and lesbianism, I always try to add my disclaimer that we should not marginalize them because the only way we can change the mindset is to treat them. I see homosexuality as a mental illness just like drug addiction or anything else. So I believe in treatment. I never advocate extermination. Although I know that there's black, lesbian, and homosexuals who may take issue with the fact that I say that they wasn't born that way, that cannot preclude me from speaking the truth though. We got to recognize the truth is not a nice thing. People don't want to be told the truth. People want to be told that their sickness is healthy. You see what I'm saying? Right. So what we have to do is teach the truth regardless. For example, we had a lot of sisters who raised children single-handedly. I hear sisters tell me all the time, I don't need no man to help me raise my son. I got 5 sons. I did a good job all by myself. But it's not natural for any parent to raise a child by themselves without the other parent, including fathers. I know single parent fathers who raising daughters, I can do it all by myself. No, you cannot. Children who grow up in healthy, balanced households do absolutely better on every life index compared to single parent households. So unless I'm saying that I promote their death or their marginalization, I'm not saying that. Which is why I can only be responsible for my words, not for the interpretation people have of it because of their own misconceived perceptions. You follow me on that?
Yeah, the first part of my question was like, how are you determining?
Multiple sources. Ultimately, you never know whether it's the truth or not unless you experienced it. And as a result of that, you have to get your information from several different sources.